Once you've released the two clamps from each other, you need to do is with a chisel clean off all the excess ribbon, the old silicone and the aluminum foil off of the clamps. If you don't clean off all the old foil, there is a remote chance that the new ribbon, when it gets installed, if it's a hair over crossing one of the tracks of the new ribbon, it could short it out. Once you've cleaned all the excess foil and tape and silicone off of the clamps, you'll end up with a view like this. Also, on the slant side of the speaker, you have the aluminum foil. This is held down by a double-sided tape. What you want to do is remove the double-sided tape along with the foil. Just remove everything. What we're looking to do is basically start from scratch. You need the chisel to get it off. Another thing what you need to check for is the little foam strips on all sides of the clamps. One test that I do is run your finger back and forth. If it breaks down, really decays quick, it needs to be replaced. Just so happens this foam seems to be fine. The top and bottom clamps do not have a lot of pressure on them like the side clamps do. That's probably why the top and bottom foam is basically fine. Just rub your finger back and forth. If it's really compressed, but your finger will not just rub it off like you can see that I'm doing right here, what you might want to do is with a chisel or a razor, just slice it off and replace it with new foam. Do all the clamps, whatever you need to do. This is strictly a dampening foam that goes between, on either side of the ribbon. The ribbon will lay in between this foam and the foam on the top clamp. Might have some extra silicone. Make sure you trim everything off. Seeing that we're replacing all the foam anyway, go the extra step and put the new foam on the top and bottom. We've gone this far. Once you've taken all the foam off, your debris, all the extra foam kicking around, what we need to do now is vacuum the whole surface. Clean all the clamps off. Any little particles have to be thrown out. If you have, where this is a magnet structure, any magnet chips, metal chips, even a tiny piece of this, if it's caught in between here, where the ribbon is going to be laying across it, there's a very good chance the ribbon could buzz when you install the new woofer ribbon. As a rule of thumb, once I've cleaned it, what I want to do is go back and forth, check the levels of the magnets. Sometimes, you know, if you get a speaker back, obviously the woofer ribbon has been punctured for whatever reason, whether it's just a little tiny ding or someone hit it real good, just to make sure that they didn't loosen any of the magnets. The magnets usually stay on there. I've never really had a problem with it popping off. Also go around, check in between for all big magnet chips, metal particles, anything that might cause the ribbon to buzz. Just so happens I got a fairly clean one. If you have a really dirty structure, what you can sometimes do is actually take some tape of some sort and just stick it to it to get the dust and dirt off of the ribbon itself. Once you've cleaned it, once you've cleaned the whole diaphragm, what you want to do on the straight side of the speaker, you'll see a series of barrel bolts. These barrel bolts are the same, tied into the spring bolts that you took out, for the most part, one of the earliest steps. Remove all of these. After you've removed all those, for the most part you have the speaker starting from scratch. Now we've got to backtrack and go towards the point of putting a new woofer ribbon in. First step, we want to replace all the foam that we ripped off. When you put the new foam down, try not to stretch it a lot. Wants to be, for the most part, flush right with the edge of the clamps. Just lay it into position, tack it down. If you stretch it too much, you might want to pull back, you know, down the road. and bottom clamps, you need to put 2 little strips. Clamps. All you're doing is basically just replacing all the foam that you took off. Strictly a foam that's to prevent any buzzing and vibrations between the ribbon or the front cover, where this is the front part of the clamp. Once all the foam has been replaced, next step, you want to put a new piece of the double-sided tape down, the one that we pulled up. This also will be supplied to you. Just line it up with the back side of the block, up to the top block. Tuck it down the block onto the roof frame. And just take your razor. And trim off the excess. This tape is strictly to hold down the outside tracks of the ribbon after we install it. After this point, for the most part, you're ready for a woofer ribbon. The only part that I can't emphasize enough is to make sure that there is no debris whatsoever underneath, that will be underneath the ribbon, such as little magnet chips near the woofer. So at this point, I'm basically ready for a woofer ribbon. So what I will do again is vacuum this whole section once more to ensure that there's nothing in there.